Welcome to Spiraling Soul, a podcast where we're just yapping about whatever comes to our minds, usually related to spirituality and psychology. But, sometimes we go a little off the trail from that. I'm Emma, and that's Casey. Yeah, thanks for listening.
What are we talking about today? I think you had some notes.
Yeah, well, also, I forgot I was going to tell you about my dream I had last night. I had a dream that Casey and I were at this commune type thing. It started with me going into this, like, past this garden into this shower area. And then I turned to some random girl. I'm like, oh, people shower, like, all the way out here, not in the building. And they're like, yeah, the shower is amazing. And then I look and you're there. I'm like, oh my gosh, yes, Casey's here too. And then I'm walking around and it's this whole community with, there's like a huge garden. And then I think I go up to some guy that works there. I'm like, hey, I want to like work in this garden. Can you explain more? And he's like, why don't I give you guys a tour? And so he's driving us around, and there's like a little mini market. There's, I don't know, things that people would use in a commune, like art spaces, a gym, stuff like that. Now that I think about it, I think I had this dream because I went to my grandparents' new assisted living facility last night, and they had all those things. Like, they have a gym, they have a mini market, they have a salon, all that. So maybe that's why I had the dream.
And because we were building a commune on The Sims.
Yeah, that too. Yeah, towards the end, it started to get a little creepy. Like, I started to think maybe it's a cult because one of the guys I talked to had been there for like 50 years, like since the 60s or something. And he was like, yeah, it takes a lot of like dismantling your programming to live here because it's such a different community to the one that normal society is and stuff like that.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it was kind of cool.
Was I naked at the showers?
No, but other people were.
Ooh, crazy.
It seemed like everyone was very, like, we were the new people. Olive.
Is that a sign that we should go work on a commune for a little bit? I feel like if we didn't have boyfriends, we would be up to some fun shit like going on a commune and living on a commune.
Yeah, if I went through a breakup at this point, I would kind of go off the rails and like, okay, I'm out of here for a bit.
Yeah. I have been watching this girl who she says she has a lot of spiritual like messages about like reprogramming your mind and basically you can do whatever you want. And she's on a horse farm in France right now, living out of her van. In all her videos, she posts one like every single day, and she's just walking around and like petting the horses. And I really like her messages. They've been resonating with me, but I'm like, oh, that sounds fun.
Yeah, if it was, I mean, I guess anything is possible.
Yeah. I personally, I kind of like the pleasures of life, my comforts, my nice pillow, warm showers where I have all my stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know how well I would do living in a van or on a commune.
Yeah, because in my dream it was a communal shower.
Oh, yeah, no. And I like my peace and quiet.
Yeah, I think that kind of stuff is, I like doing that stuff every now and then. Like, I like to have an adventure and just kind of live a little bit off the grid or like live in a crazy way for a little bit, but I don't think I could do it for an extended period of time.
No, no, me either.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
I'm
like
always down for an adventure.
yeah. Like my Iceland trip, and that's kind of ties into what I was going to talk about. But it was fun because I got to stay. Well, one night I stayed in a hostel, which was a pretty new experience for me. And it was really fun. But yeah, again, I don't think I could do it for like a month, like stay in hostels. And I know some people go on trips to Europe for a few months and stay in hostels the whole time. I don't know if I could do that, but like a hostel for a few nights. I don't know. It was kind of fun. It was like a little summer camp.
Like, give me the play by play of what was the hostel experience like? Because I've never been in one and I don't really know much about it.
Yeah, so um I just went in and they had a front desk, checked in. I had to leave my shoes by the door because they had no shoes allowed. And then we went into the common area and they had like a living room, they had games, they had a computer, a TV, they had a full kitchen and a bunch of tables. And then they had the living quarters, which there were several rooms, and I was in the female only room. And I got a little key so I could lock my stuff in a little lockbox. And then there were bunk beds and yeah, and then the bathroom was had sinks and separate toilets and showers. And so it was very private. Like I never felt weird about being in the showers with like there were other people in there, but it didn't feel weird. And yeah, it was only me and one other girl in the room, and she was really sweet. And we were both journaling at the same time, and I thought it was cute.
Aww.
Um, and then there was this family that was there, and they actually like they took over the common area. They cooked a whole meal. Um, and then there's this other guy from Switzerland who I don't know where he stayed. I only met him in the morning. So there wasn't even that many people there. And it was very clean and well kept. I've heard hostel horror stories, but the one I stayed at had really, really good ratings, and it was like very comfortable. And I felt safe the whole time. Like I didn't feel weird about any of the other people staying there.
Was it like in the city, like in a big building, or?
No, it was in a tiny little seaside village. And it
Aww.
was in like this tiny little building. It was super quiet. Like the town is so small. A lot of towns in Iceland are pretty small. And it was about like a 15-minute drive to a bigger town and then about an hour drive to some sightseeing and stuff like that.
That's cool.
Yeah. Yeah, it was fun. And I was just going to talk about anxiety and exposure therapy and stuff like that.
Okay.
Because I've noticed a shift in me recently. I'm a very anxious person, and even just the smallest things give me anxiety.
Wait, can I stop you there for really quick?
Yeah.
We have a new identity and we're in a new timeline. The old you was anxious. You're no longer anxious. So,
That's what I was going to talk about.
oh, okay, cool. That's our telepathy. Our telepathy already at work.
Yeah, I was kind of saying, because that's like, that's how I have been ever since I was even a toddler. Like, from what my mom tells me, I've always been an anxious baby, anxious toddler, anxious kid. Like I've always just been a ball of anxiety. It's probably all my Virgo placements. Um but recently I've noticed like I don't have anxiety like I used to. For example, I was freaking out going on this Iceland trip. I've never been to a foreign country solo, but I did not have I mean, even though I had like it was like a feeling of like it wasn't like my stomach was doing flips and I was ruminating about the worst case scenario. I don't know, I feel like my body feels different now to situations that wouldn't in the past have given me anxiety. And I think it's because I've learned how to transmute it into a positive energy for myself. And I also have been taking a lot of risks and doing the things that make me scared. And I think it's honestly helped me overcome a lot of my anxiety. So it's working. It's like exposure therapy. If you really want to do something and you're anxious about it, do it anyway. And then you're going to prove to yourself, oh, it wasn't that bad.
Yeah, and then doing more and more of it. That's I feel like this kind of ties in with our last episode. When I was out in public, I was all scared and thinking of the worst case scenario cuz people can be kind of crazy and scary. But since we talked about it, I have not been feeling that way. If I do get kind of a titch of like, oh, they could hurt me, like it goes away really quick now. Cause I think it's because we've addressed it and we're like, okay, this, I noticed it. And now because I've noticed it and I've like dived into it and we've reprogrammed it in a way, I'm feeling that less and less and for shorter periods of time.
Yeah.
Just feeling more at peace and like, okay, whatever happens is gonna happen. And me worrying about it is literally gonna do nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm giving myself the feeling that I don't want to feel unnecessarily. So it's like, if it happens and you'll feel it. But right now, you're making it happen in your mind in having that feeling.
Yeah. And I think what I've noticed for me, because I don't know if I've talked about this in a podcast, but my motto for this year is like being scared and doing the thing anyway to overcome my fears. And I really think it's helping. But I think it's really helped me to not be anxious anymore. Learning how to trust myself and trust the universe has helped me get over anxiety and fear. Like, for example, since I'm unemployed now, I've had a couple job interviews. And normally, I think in the past, I'd be freaking out. Like, I'd be a little shaky, jittery, ruminating all morning. But now, my job interviews, I've just gone in so calmly, and it's because and like I haven't had the jitters at all. Like I get so jittery when I'm anxious. I haven't been jittery at all. I've been very calm, and I think it's because I trust myself to do a good job. I also trust the universe that the right opportunities will come my way. And I think this trust just makes me feel very relaxed because it's like, okay, if this thing is right for me, then it'll be mine. If this person wants to hire me and it's the right job for me, then they're going to like me. If it's not the right thing for me, then they're not going to hire me. And I have so much trust in the universe that things will work out for me. And so now nothing even really seems that anxiety inducing anymore. Like Iceland, too. Like, every time I'd start to get a little jittery or anxious, I kind of transmuted it. I'm like, no, this is something I've been wanting to do for a long time, and I trust myself to do this trip, and I trust the universe to protect me and like give me a really fun trip, an enlightening trip, and that's what happened. Yeah, that I think that's what's really helped a lot of my anxiety is just having this trust.
Yeah, same. Same.
Because like with your situation, you were nervous about something that would happen in public, but then if you reflect and you're like, well, I trust that the universe will keep me safe and protected, and if something does go wrong, I trust myself to navigate through that situation.
Yeah, exactly. You took the words like literally right out of my mouth. And so I went to Germany and France, as you know.
Yeah, we were both traveling.
July's been good to us. July's
Yeah,
been really
it
good.
has.
But in the past, I was like, I really don't like Germany. Like the last time I went to Germany, I really didn't like it. I had a lot of negative experiences. I just found something wrong with literally everything there. in this time, I really enjoyed it. And I think part of it is because my mindset the last time I was there was, my dad was getting on me about what am I doing with my life, blah, blah, blah. And that just like put me down. And I was already kind of feeling down. And so I was focusing on the negative, and I kept seeing more of the negative because I was focused on that. But this time, as I was in the airport, like going to Germany, I got this book called The Magic by, I think it's Rhonda Rhimes, or she wrote The Secret, which was all about like law of attraction. And The Gift is all about gratitude. And so I got that. And in this book, it's basically like one of Newton's laws is like every action has an opposite and equal reaction. And so when you give gratitude and you give thanks for the things in front of you, the opposite of giving is receiving. And so then you receive more things to be grateful for. I started writing like every morning 10 things that I was grateful for. And then at night, she said to have a stone by your bed and you hold it and you think of the thing you're most grateful for. And throughout that, she had like all these different things to do on each day, and some of them built on top of each other. But my mindset was very much like, what can I find to be grateful for? And there's so much to be grateful for, even the annoying experiences. Like the kid above me in the hotel was just so annoying, so loud. He like woke me up really early, and I'm like, okay, how can I be grateful for this? And I was like, I'm grateful to the annoying kid upstairs for waking me up early, because otherwise I would have slept in really late and would have had to rush getting ready. And now I can leisurely wake up and take my time. And I feel like I just kept getting just more and more just good things that happened. Like literally on the plane, as I was writing my gratitudes, the lady next to me gave me Reese's Pieces. And not like a little. She's like, do you want some? I'm like, yeah. And she gave me like a shit ton of Reese's Pieces. And then I wrote after it, I'm thankful for the lady for giving Reese's Pieces, because it's proving to me that gratitude works. Gratitude is the magic in life and helps you see things as more magical. Oh, I haven't finished the book, but in like doing all the practices in the book, because it's like a daily thing, and I kind of fell off of it because I was jet lagged and stuff. Excuses, excuses. But I will do a episode on that, I think, once I finish. If I finish. No, I'll finish. I'll finish. I'll make it a priority to finish.
There's so many people. Like, one of the most important things you can do on a daily basis is count your gratitudes, even the smallest things, but even the bad things. Like, as you're telling that story, I'm also remembering in Iceland, something went really wrong. I was on my way back from a couple hikes. That was my favorite night. Like, I saw the most beautiful waterfalls. I hiked at midnight and saw the midnight sun. And I'm on my way back to my Airbnb, and I get a flat tire notification. I'm freaking out because I'm in the middle of Iceland, like rural Iceland on my own. And I get back to the Airbnb and I call my partner, and I'm just sobbing and sobbing. But like through the tears, I'm like, well, this will be a really good story. And so I was like, I'm grateful I have a story to tell. But then I was like, okay, I'm going to go to sleep it off. In the morning, I'll figure it out. I was like, I'll message my Airbnb host, see if he has any recommendations. So in the morning, I check, it's still flat, but I looked at all the tires and none of them looked flat. And so I was like, okay, I'll message him. And it was checkout time. It was like 10:55, checkout at 11. And I was like, hey, thank you for letting me stay. Like, I'm just wondering if you have any recommendation, like local recommendations of a place that could help me. And he messages back right away and he's like, drive your car up to the front. Like, I'll read your tires and give you some more info. And I go up there and he's like the nicest person ever, checks all my tires, they're all good. And he's like, they all look good to me. You should. Is something wrong?
I just keep hearing like distant talking. Whatever. Sorry. He was the nicest old man.
No, he wasn't an old man. He was.
Oh. Why in my head has he been an old man?
No, he's young. Like, him and his wife were young, and they were really cute. Like, he had a nose piercing and was like really cool. And he's also a drug and alcohol counselor. And so I thought that was cool because I'm in the field of psychology, and so it's like a little synchronicity. But yeah, he was so nice. He checked all my tires. He didn't need to do that, and he did. And it just, I remembered the sigh of relief after, and I was like crying as I was leaving because I was like, yes, thank you for being okay. But yeah, so also I'm grateful it gave me a story. It gave me evidence that there are good people all around the world willing to help if you just ask. And yeah, even though I was stressed in the moment, it just gave me I was still so grateful for and I'm grateful that it wasn't actually flat because then I would have been out a lot of money. But yeah, so I think that kind of relates to your story too of like, there's this thing and you're annoyed about it, upset about it, but then it ends up, you see the good in it. You see the good things that came out of it.
It's all perspective. Literally, everything is just perspective.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. Like so many things that have happened to me that were bad or stressful ended up being some of the best things that ever happened to me and gave me a lot of perspective and growth and like helped me get on a new direction that I actually needed to go and was holding back or something like that. Like losing my job. It was a huge disappointment, but now I'm realizing losing my job is what's pushing me to keep the ball rolling in my life because I was getting a little too comfortable.
This is exactly why I know that I need to get a full-time job again. I'm getting way too comfortable. So it's been what? It's been about a little over 2 years since I've had a full-time job. And I've had it easy. I've been kicking it. I've been sleeping in late. In my original plan was like, okay, I'm going to use the free time that I have now to start this like business venture project thing that I wanted to work on. And I just never did. And I think I need the fire underneath me to work on it. If I have it easy, then I'm too comfortable. And then I'm like, oh, well, I could do it tomorrow. I could do it tomorrow. I can do it tomorrow. But when my schedule's more full, I have to intentionally place things in that I want to do like in my schedule. And I end up working on it more. And then if I'm frustrated about working all the time, it gives me motivation to do it. And I really wish I didn't need that and I could just have motivation because it's fun. Which, side note, I need your advice because I keep teetering back and forth. Long term, I don't want a reality where I work a 9 to 5 because I do really like this chill, go with the flow. And I would totally stay here if it weren't for money. And the other part of the equation is, well, I am really motivated right now to work on this project that could potentially make me money. And if it doesn't make me money, hold on. Okay, sorry. ADHD kicking in. Pin that. Damn it. See, it's every time I try to fight not saying the thought that's trying to interject, it loses my whole train of thought. So I might as well just go with it and let it happen.
It was something about your new idea.
Yeah, my project. So I've been like, it's been over 2 years that I've been on and off working on this project, and I'll get really excited about it and feel really creative. But then the thoughts of, well, is this going to make me money? Is it going to be worth it? Like, because then you have to start thinking about investing money into it. And then it's scary to invest large sums of money into something. And if it doesn't work out, then you're kind of at a loss. So then that starts getting me in my head. And then I'm like, then it will be a failure. But now I've changed my mindset around it, and it's way more enjoyable to work on, and I get excited to work on it. And I changed my mindset to be, you genuinely want to learn about this stuff on a deeper level. You do this for fun anyways, for your friends. You want to share this with other people because it has helped you and has brought you some peace of mind and given you some purpose. And this is just a fun little creative hobby that could possibly make me money, but if it doesn't, then that's fine. Like, I've released the outcome of it, and now I'm just doing it because my soul is calling me to do it regardless of how it turns out.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah.
So, okay, back to my original thing. So one of the tarot readers on TikTok, I resonated with, I'm in her collective. I resonate with a lot of her messages. She said that on all of August, you need to lock in and really work on that project that you've been wanting to work on. And so now I'm like, do I postpone my job search until after August and fully truly lock in on creating this project in August, so I don't prolong it super long and I can just lock in and do it and like focus on it? Because where you put your focus, I guess it's like, that's the direction I truly want to go. But it almost seems like, and I've done this before with the bookkeeping business of, okay, well, this is the direction I want to go, but now I'm panicking and I want money and I want out of this situation because I'm starting to feel low-key kind of like a loser. And so then I panicked, and then I went and got into a different direction that didn't fulfill me because I already knew it wasn't going to fulfill me, but I just wanted money. And it's like, that's thinking kind of short term, where I could think long term and push off this discomfort of feeling kind of losery for a little bit. So I guess my question is, do I lock in August and work on this project before I go into my part-time job every day? Or do I still look for jobs all of August, but then it's divided?
When does your part-time job start again?
Oh, it starts tomorrow. I thought it started Monday, but it starts tomorrow.
Okay. Yeah, as you're talking, I'm trying to think of solutions because there's so many different parts. For one, we live in a, not to say this quote, but we live in a society. But like, we live in a society where we need money, we need to make money. And unfortunately, a lot of ways that people make money is not sustainable in the long term. You know, a lot of people are burnt out. We spend 40 hours a week at jobs that don't fill us up. So But on the other hand, we do need money to live, for rent, bills, things like that. And so it's so hard to come up with a good solution because I feel like so many people, if money wasn't a concern, they would be pouring all their time and energy into these passion projects and stuff like that. But so many people are stuck at jobs that don't allow them to do that. I feel like you're in a good position right now because, even though you're feeling a little antsy, like you want to make more money, you want to move out, things like that, you still have the position of like you don't have to pay rent. So it's like you don't have, like, yes, you want to like get up and go in and get a job situated, get an apartment, things like that. But then once you're in that, are you going to be able to find like once you have a full-time job, are you going to be able to find the balance to work on your passion project?
Probably not, because I'd be mad that I have a full-time job and I'd be tired.
Yeah. Yeah. So part of me is thinking, you're not in any rush to get out of your situation. But now that you've made your mind up that you are going to go back to full time work and get a new apartment, get all that stuff going, now that it's on your mind, it's on its way. And there's not, unless there was something like pressuring you, like, oh, I have to move out by this day, or oh, I have this by this day, but you don't really have any deadlines financially. So I'd say if it's just for a month, set the month to just do it. Just put your all into the project, but you can't slack or anything. Like it's got to be like dedicate almost all your free time to this thing. Mm-hmm. Once you've completed, once the month is over and you see the progress you've made, I don't know. And it's also whenever you're doing the things that you love, like truly love and are passionate about, I feel like the universe rewards you or rewards people. And so I think you're in a good position to allow yourself a month to just devote to it. And then maybe once September rolls around, you continue the job hunt, but also still give yourself like an hour or so a day to work on your project or something like that. And then also spend X amount of time finding a job and like break it up a little bit more.
I like this plan.
Yeah.
I like this plan.
Yeah. It's hard because it's like there's societal expectations on one hand, but on the other hand, I think everyone should try to find time for their passions, especially when they're in a good position to do so and have that balance available.
Yeah, I told myself every single weekday, and I'm sure I'll probably work on it on the weekends too, but I gave myself a rule every single weekday you must be up and working on it by 9:30 in the morning. And if you're not doing that, then you got to start searching for jobs again.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah. Yeah, it's really about holding yourself accountable and being disciplined, which also, if you have any tips on that, I could use them. Since I'm unemployed, I got back from Iceland. I was like, okay, I'm going to rest a little bit after my trip. And then I'm still getting severance checks. So it doesn't feel like a financial, like I haven't seen a dip in my account yet. I'm not feeling it yet. And so I don't really have a fire under my ass either.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm struggling to find the discipline. So like I'm giving all this advice, but I also need some discipline advice right now.
Here's my thought. First, I think it's okay that you weren't really doing anything this month because you did we hung out for a while. You went on your trip. Now you're adjusting to the jet lag. I think that it was okay to not be disciplined this month and to almost kind of reward yourself and celebrate that you don't have a job anymore and celebrate having that job. So I don't think that's bad. I guess I would, if I were you, I would look at kind of how much savings you have and figure out what is the lowest that you're willing to let that drop to, so that you can, and then budget, like look at your past, like, yeah, so like budget to make sure, like, okay, these next few months it's going to cost me about, like, this is my spending, and so if my account gets down to this level, I have 3 months to where I don't, that's my alarm. I have, like, let's say 3 months until I'm actually like gonna start freaking out. Like, I'm gonna need a job. So yeah, I would just look at how much time you can like really afford to not have a job. And because you have a cool opportunity of where you don't have anywhere to be. You can recover from all this hard work you've done like your whole life. You can really recharge and do a lot of internal work. Like, I've been doing a lot of internal work lately. And like, when you're like chilling and you're not stressed and you're just being, that's when a lot of creative energy comes out and ideas come out. And who knows, maybe you will have an idea of maybe a business that you want to start or a creative project that you want to start that you can start working on. But it also just depends on your risk level, because I have a very high risk. I'm very high risk taker, and I know a lot of people they're a risk adverse. So yeah, it just like really listen to your body and listen to your heart, and don't focus so much on your brain and what your mind is saying, because we have entered a new reality. Like, we are in a different timeline, and things do not operate on the old level of thinking.
Now, I just had a thought. We flip flop our advice for each other and take our own advice too.
Yep. 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 Yeah. Yeah.
Because we do both have advantages right now to focus on our passions and ourselves, but also have our minds looking ahead to like where we're going from here.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I think just setting some rules for ourselves would be good. I don't think that they need to be super intense, because that's not the type of life that we want. And I don't think that we should be grinding. Honestly, I really don't think life needs to be that hard as people make it. And I think we just really need to be in the energy of what we want. Like, we know the feeling that we want. And now, like, we are literally in that feeling. And so just moving toward what is going to give us that feeling, in the universe has our back. And I know, like, some people listening might be thinking, like, you're fucking psycho, but I've just had too much proof that this works. Yeah. And like, literally everything will be okay. So you might as well just do the shit that you actually want to do.
Yeah. Yeah. And you also can't take what everyone else said. Like, you can get advice from people and things like that, but if people are trying to tell you to do things a certain way and it's not resonating with you, you don't have to listen to other people, because maybe some people's advice might also be projecting a bit of what they think. Like, I lost my job. Everyone constantly asking me, have you tried this? Have you applied to this? Have you done this? Have you got a job yet? Have you got a job yet? Like, asking me all the time. And I'm like, hey, I have the funds to not to be a little flexible for a little while. Like, you don't know my life. And the things that do fill me up is things like travel, like to Iceland. Maybe some people thought it was a bad idea for me to go to Iceland after I got laid off. But I know I have the funds. It's something that's going to fill me up. It's one of my life purposes. I did a little bit of research because I'm a Sagittarius rising, and the way that I'm in my best energy is when I'm emulating that energy, which is all about travel and learning and expanding. And I think it did really change me, that trip. And I wouldn't have changed a single thing about it. And I always have the idea, money always comes back to me when I'm putting it towards things that I'm passionate about. So, yeah, it's like that. And it all goes back to the message at the beginning of this podcast of trusting yourself. Like, you know what's right for you. You just have to keep listening. Listen to your heart, listen to what's really calling to you, and nothing can go a different way for you other than what's meant to.
Mhm. Mhm.
And it doesn't have to be that hard. Here's a little thing. I'm a very low effort person. I've never been one to, and maybe it's from my ADHD and just procrastinating and not being able to finish projects and stuff, but all throughout school, I would do things to the last minute. For example, like in high school, there'd be people that applied to like 20 colleges. I applied to the one that I wanted to go to, and I knew I'd get in, and I did. And like projects and stuff. I remember I did a project in high school, did it the night before, and it worked. And I was like, okay, this works. And then I competed with other people, and those people spent months on this project, and I won first place. And I did it the night before, and everyone was so pissed. But I looked at all the rules. It hit all the rules. Everyone thought my project was a little weird because it looked like it was just thrown together, which it was. But it won. I don't know. Things don't have to be that serious, and you don't have to stress yourself out doing something. It doesn't have to be that hard, is what I'm trying to say. Like, people are making it complicated.
Yeah, and placing all these rules of, like, we have all these rules in our head of how it has to be because these gurus or money managers or our parents or our teachers told us it needs to be a certain way. And it's like, it literally doesn't. There's so many people surviving and thriving doing the exact opposite of what they're told.
Yeah. And that's kind of how history is made too. Like, the names of people that have changed history were not following the rules. They were doing whatever they wanted to do, and a lot of them were rejected, ridiculed,
misunderstood.
Yeah. In every field, like
called
civil rights movements, art, music, sports, like everyone who pushes the boundary. I don't know. I think more people need to realize you can do whatever you want.
There are no rules. There are no rules.
There are no rules.
That makes me feel good.
Yeah.
There's really no fucking rules. And then even with like the project I'm working on, I have the information and I'm like, well, maybe I should check 5 other sources to make sure I have the exact information so I'm not telling people something wrong. I'm like, bitch, you have 2 sources, like legitimate books that have the same information. Like, you're not trying to write a fucking book. You're just trying to make silly little videos and a creative project from this. Like, it's not that fucking deep. And no one, like, the thing I'm working on, like, there's no real science behind it. Who's gonna say that, yes, this is true or this is not true? Like,
mm-hmm. And if you do put something out in the world, and some people don't agree with it or some people don't like it. That's okay. Not everyone has the same taste, not everyone believes the same things. If somebody is if people are seriously like coming at you and like giving like instead of like actual criticism, like solid criticisms, but instead are resorting to, making fun of you or things like that, like that's their problem for not having an open mind of like, oh, people can have different opinions than me or people can like different things than me and that's okay. I can just move on. Sometimes I come across things and I watch it, I'm like, oh, I don't really like this. And then I just move on. I scroll on. You don't have to, I don't know, that it's just like you don't have to it's okay. You can whatever feels right to you is valid to you and you're allowed to create whatever you want or do whatever you want.
Yeah, I'm taking it way too seriously. Like, there's a part of it where I like the seriousness, I like the organization and everything, but then it gets to like the information part, and then I start questioning stuff and doubting myself. And I'm like, bitch, you know the information. You literally go on and on and on to your friends about it. Like, you don't want to be word for word from the book. Like, just say it how you say it to your friends.
And also, what even is real? Like, what even is true? Especially when it comes to things with spirituality. Like, even if it's written in multiple different books, nothing is even really real. Like, even science, even science gets disproven and new things are discovered every day. Obviously, it gets to a problem when you're purposely spreading misinformation or harmful information. But like for example, like when it comes to spirituality, like when we started this podcast, I would talk and then I was like, I don't know if what I said was actually true, and I feel like somebody's gonna come and like disprove me or something. But now I'm like, no, I mean it's true to me.
Yeah. Yeah, that's all that matters. Is it true to me?
Yeah.
Does it resonate with me? Because if it resonates with me, it's going to resonate to someone else. And maybe someone needs to hear my version of saying it to fully grasp the concept.
Yeah. Even I, like, we both know a lot of spiritual concepts, but I find myself still like reading books, listening to new content, learning new things, or even changing my opinion. I've changed my opinion on a lot of different things,
Yeah.
and that's okay.
Yeah. There are no rules.
It's really not that deep. It's life isn't deep, but it's also so deep.
Yeah.
But it's in the way that you make it.
It is this, and it is also not this.
Yeah.
Well, we should sometime talk about our. I don't know if I want to talk about the shroom stuff because we're looking for jobs, but I feel like that shroom experience was really like eye opening and had a
Mm-hmm.
lot of lessons and like was life changing. And I kind of feel like we should talk about it. I don't know. What are your
Yeah.
thoughts?
Let's just talk about it, and then if we really don't want it out there, we can edit it out.
I was thinking a whole different episode.
Okay.
And I guess if it's giving us problems, we private it.
Yeah. Like you want to talk right now about it? I mean, I'm down.
Okay. So let's wrap up this episode, take a pee break, and then come back. That was the end of this episode. I hope that something in this resonated for you. Just know that there are no rules and you can do anything that you want. You just truly have to believe and trust your body and your gut and your intuition, and you are divinely protected and everything's going to work out. And even if you think it's not working out, it's not working out for your benefit. And sometimes it doesn't even you might not think that's true, but it is true for me. and maybe it's true for you. So, anyways, we have social media. It is linked below. We don't really post on it, but who knows? Maybe we will one day. And we have our own personal social medias down there below. Also, we have, what is it? We have an Amazon storefront where we have a bunch of books that we have read and that we recommend if you are wanting to dive kind of deeper onto your spiritual journey. Good luck, everyone, and bye.